to stand this side because I'm really paranoid about kicking over those tins when I stand up. Okay, so this rather strange looking object that I've got up here is actually a prototype of a 10,000-year clock. Now, it was built by the Long Now Foundation, an organisation dedicated to long-term thinking and the promotion of long-term thinking. It chimed first in 2000, and it will chime again for a second time in roughly about 9,990 odd years from now. Now, it's a clock that's designed to challenge our narrow perceptions of time, a counterpoint to what the Long Now Foundation see as today's faster, cheaper mindset. Now, I think the ad industry in particular is one of the worst proponents of this faster, cheaper mindset. We don't value permanence. And when it comes to thinking along the dimensions of time and space, advertising focuses solely on space. Reach is our key media measure. The word campaign originates from military land grabs, and we talk of 360-degree thinking and big ideas, both spatial terms that when you try and apply them to the dimension of time are actually meaningless. And we also talk of global branding frequently, and yet temporal branding isn't even a concept. Our obsession with spatial dominance has come, I think, at the kind of expense of considerations of permanence. In fact, we're an industry, let's not forget, built on interruption, the very breaking of the continuity of time. And what's happening, I think, is that digital is actually exacerbating this skewed relationship that we have between time and space by enabling us to extend our brands further and faster than ever before. But this narrowing of time is actually causing us problems. Millward Brown have shown that the greatest guarantor of long-term brand success is actually trust. And yet, over the last decade, brand trust has plummeted by a staggering 50%. Now, I don't think it's a coincidence an industry that's so obsessed by space and speed is actually witnessing the erosion of a value that's built over time. Because time, as we all know anecdotally, is something, trust, as we all know anecdotally, is something that's built over time and not space. Now, there are in fact two different ways that you can look at any communications medium. You can look at it as a transmission system, where it's spreading messages across space, or you can look at it as a ritual system, where it's preserving those messages through time. But we rarely talk about ritual. The idea of transmission dominates our thinking. In fact, we even called our newest communication system the information superhighway. We named it after a transport system designed to enable greater speeds at longer distances. So the question is really, is stripped of this name, can something like digital actually function as a ritual communication system as well as a transmission system? And the answer is yes, it can. Not least because Google has built its brand by using digital as a ritual communication system. The Google Doodle is a 13-year-old ritual celebration, no different to the types of decorative celebrations that we see in the real world. Rituals like well-dressing that preserve communities through time. And what we're also seeing in digital is the rapid rise of social games. Games like O2's Quacky Races that run year after year after year. And again, I would argue these are no different to the kinds of real-world ritual games that we see building continuity for communities like Olney's Pancake Race or Gloucester's infamous cheese rolling. So what we're seeing in digital, I think, is really the beginnings of what I would call ritual branding. Brands beginning to build themselves on long-running customs as well as campaigns. But I think the really interesting thing in all of this is that those we have to answer to are beginning to embrace the idea of long-term value. The city have helped set up something called the Long Finance Institute, a kind of sister offshot of the Long Now Foundation. And its iconic project is a search for the eternal coin, a project that, like the 10,000-year clock, is designed to stimulate and open up debate about value over the long term. So what I want to suggest is that alongside the eternal coin and the 10,000-year clock, that we in the advertising industry now add the long idea, a cornerstone for the restoration of a ritual view of communications, and a counterpoint to the big idea, the spatially biased icon that currently presides over our industry. And I think a reminder to us all that building successful brands involves thinking about how ideas pass through time as well as through space. Thank you.